Welcome back, Johnny Zero here, the best beard in radio, and you're listening to the Warfighter Eye, the flagship program, if you will, of the Warfighter Up Radio Network. And here, hour number 2 of the show, where we're going to kick things off by bringing in a very, very special guest, somebody I'm really excited to talk to, and his name is Chris Keniston, and he is the presidential candidate from the Veterans Party for America. And we had his running mate on the show with us yesterday. Had an excellent interview with him, and really interested to see what Chris has to say. And without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome our guest to the program. Chris, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Welcome to the show, brother. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come on and talk to you and your listeners.
Oh, absolutely, and I appreciate you, taking some time out of your crazy schedule to sit down with us. Before we dive into everything, you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners, and give us a little bit of background on who you are and what you're doing.
Sure. My name is Chris Keniston. I am the presidential candidate for Veterans Party of America. I am a veteran, 13 plus years in the Air Force. All spent enlisted as a C-130 and C-141 crew chief. Since 2009, when I left the Air Force, I've been working in industry as maintenance and reliability, management engineer, done some environmental health and safety, basically been senior leadership in manufacturing ever since I got out.
Fantastic, and we like I said in the intro there, we sat down yesterday with your running mate, Deacon Taylor, and incredible guy. I just impressed the hell out of me, and very well spoken, and you can hear the passion in his voice. Yep. Does that come from just who he is and who you are, or is that just the organization as a whole?
All of the above, I believe. I consider myself very fortunate to have Deacon Taylor as my running mate. He is a very intelligent, conscientious, and determined individual. I certainly share in most of that, I believe. Certainly determined to see this through. And that can be said of most of the folks that are involved with Veterans Party of America. We are not exclusively veterans, but quite a few of us have military service, and once we sink our teeth into a mission, we really aren't going to be denied. And right now, our mission is restoring a representative government.
And that to me, that to me is so powerful and so important, because one of the things that I talk about on the show every day is the impact that the warfighter community can have. And I truly believe that we are not only underrepresented, but we're also, by and large, unaware of how much power and responsibility our community has. And I think you guys kind of exemplify that.
Well, that's something I guess we take for granted from the warfighter community, is whether you were junior enlisted, you did 3 or 4 years, or particularly if you spent more time in the military, made it up to the rank of NCO, or served as a commissioned officer, you have experience in a bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm.
How to function, how to be successful, how to get things done in a bureaucracy. And I don't care what branch of service you're in, that applies to you. When you get out, take a little time and go down to your city hall meeting and watch how that operates. Watch the way your city runs, your county runs. Watch a state legislature session. It's chaos.
Oh, absolutely.
You have predominantly people who have no real experience in bureaucracy making up the rules as they go. And it's no surprise that it's dysfunctional to the extreme that it has become.
Yeah,
really,
I think you're absolutely right.
We need more veteran representatives, because we know as well as anybody how to function in that chaotic, bureaucratic environment and get things done.
Well, that's it. And, my own personal mantra here on the show is, as warfighters, we are the conquerors never the conqueror. And it doesn't matter what the challenge is ahead of us, what the mission is. We find a way to get it done, despite how the cards may be stacked against us. And I truly believe that is an asset that we really need to tap into, both in our military careers and as we transition into the civilian population, whatever you want to call it. So let's talk a little bit about the Veterans Party of America. What got you involved, and how did you get to be their candidate?
Well, the party itself was founded in December of 2013, immediately after Congress passed its omnibus spending bill for that year, basically at the expense of the veteran community, of all of our earned benefits, pay adjustments, military pay and benefits, basically everything that they did to make their budget, they did at our expense. And at that point, a few individuals looked at the votes of the people involved and realized that we were ill represented by both major parties. There really wasn't, even the people with military experience, veterans that we thought we should be able to count on to look out for us. As major party politicians, they don't seem to have that loyalty. So the decision was made very shortly thereafter to found the party, the Veterans Party of America. It is filed with the FEC. It is now established in all 50 states, and we have groups working on ballot recognition across the country. It is an uphill fight. The two major parties' representatives have been the ones to write the election laws in every state. So they have been written to be as prohibitive to competition as possible. It really is difficult to establish a third party and get ballot access in this country.
Oh, absolutely. And
that was deliberate. There's no question.
And that's one of the questions that comes up anytime anybody talks, third party. I mean, we've seen, several candidates over the years, try to make a third party run. And a lot of folks have this belief that, well, it's just not possible because of the way the system is set up. So this is obviously a pretty big time hurdle for you guys to overcome. And what's your take on that? And why do you believe that it is not only possible, but it's achievable now instead of years down the road?
Well, because we don't take no for an answer.
I like it.
Some states are more difficult than others. Really the fast and easy way to figure out how complicated it's going to be to obtain third-party ballot access in a state is to look at how many electoral votes it's worth. The more electoral votes the state is worth, the harder it's going to be to get on their ballot. So California, New York, Texas, Florida, it's not easy. It requires a lot of signatures. In a lot of cases, it requires a fee for registration. It's not a small task, but we're veterans. Next man up, we all have time, and we all got nothing better to do than continue to fight for the Constitution. And that really is the way that we look at this.
I absolutely love it. I mean, that is the warfighter mentality in a nutshell. Like you say, we're not going to take no for an answer, and really, I believe that's what this country needs. When you look at all the major issues, not only facing America, but facing the world as a whole. It's scary, dangerous times we're living in, and we need that true leadership and commitment to what's quote unquote right. And again, it goes down to leadership, I believe. So talk to me about how you got to be the candidate. You guys are obviously, what we're used to is the primary system or the caucus system, and you guys are obviously outside of that. So how did it get decided that, hey, Chris Keniston's going to be our guy?
Well, I got involved originally in about February of 2014, and it it was just a matter of curiosity for me. I mean, I didn't feel represented any longer. I didn't feel like either party really ever reflected my views. I've been an independent voter my entire life. And because I didn't feel represented by either party any longer, I started looking for a third party that I could really identify with and throw my support behind and try to help build. Looked at all the common ones that most people know about. Looked at the Libertarians. I looked at the Green Party, although that was never really an option for me personally. Looked at the Constitution Party, the American Independent Party, quite a few other ones. And none of them seem to have any traction. I mean, the Libertarians and the Greens have managed to achieve some ballot access in certain states, but they've never really, to me, seemed like they had a cohesive effort. And they don't really have a plan. They have an identity, so to speak. Mm-hmm. They have a philosophy, but they don't really propose any solutions to the serious problems that face this country. So then I stumbled across Veterans Party of America, and as I read their platform, I saw not only that they had a really good overview of the situation that this country is in, but also some proposed solutions and things that we can do to improve. And I thought, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Mm-hmm. Oh, and it's a veteran party, so great. So I got involved and reached out to the party's chairman, Mark Wilder, and after about an hour conversation with him, I had volunteered to establish the party in Louisiana where I had been living at the time. So I went from curious to a state leader in the course of one phone call. I was that motivated and that inspired by the efforts.
That's fantastic.
Stayed in a leadership position with the party as we started trying to vet potential candidates for our presidential nomination. We vetted, I think it was around 24 people. Mm-hmm. And some of them you've heard of, whose names you would recognize, some you probably never heard of. And through the process, we either found that, we had retread cast-off politicians from another party who wanted to basically use us as support for their own efforts. Mm-hmm. Or people who had another agenda. They had books to sell or they had videos to push or some,
Right.
That's not what we're trying to accomplish here. And we had some people who looked good to a certain point, but at some point they either deviated hard left or hard right from our centrist constitutional viewpoint. So they were ultimately found lacking on that. Once we'd run through all these people, really there was a lot of frustration in the party. We could not find somebody from outside the party who really well represented us. Mm-hmm. So after some conversations, we turned in and tried to find somebody from within the party who would well represent us for this first election. After some prompting from several people, I went ahead and put forth my package. Deacon put forth his package, and he and I competed head-to-head for the nomination. And we had a handshake agreement from the very beginning that whomever won, the loser would serve as vice. Mm-hmm. So this easily could have gone the other direction, at least in my opinion. Ultimately, we both went through a very grueling town hall session and a vetting process with senior leadership and the state leaders. Our answers to the town hall questions were put before the members of the party, and I received the nomination.
Now, what did that mean to you? I mean, obviously, it's a huge undertaking. It's a lot of responsibility, and it's that leadership position. And those of us who have served, I think we have a better feel and a better respect for what it takes to be in a leadership position. So what did that mean to you that they said, you know what, we're going to go with you, and let's get this ball rolling?
Well, it's an honor because I really believe what this party is trying to accomplish. I believe in everything that it stands for. And I especially believe in its central theme of support and defense of the Constitution. That's the oath that I swore my life to 4 times as an enlisted airman. So it's just a supreme honor for the people that I